Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Depressed Hero, and this is Limbus Company. So as of recording this, they did do a small update with the difficulty levels of the Lux Cavations, so they're a little bit more balanced. They also adjusted the rewards and gave a bunch of XP tickets as a result. I'm still not really devoting the time to do the extra dailies. I just do enough to do the pass missions, and that's it. I did take advantage of the mirror dungeons, which I did all 3 of them. They give more boxes of shards now, and instead of giving 8 progression towards the pass, it gives you 20. So essentially it just gives you 2 level ups per run. So doing all 3 for the week gives you 6 level ups by itself, which is pretty amazing. My biggest complaint about mirror dungeons, besides the broken EGOs, is it's really random about like what you fight. I've had encounters where it's just like you fight one like very basic abnormality as a boss, and then I've had others where it was 4 on 1, and each of them had 2 to 3 actions type situation. It's just kind of all over the place in my opinion. And because since the EGOs are the EGO gifts are very random and some of them don't work, you're almost better off just getting level ups and just maxing out your characters to 30 as quickly as possible to take full advantage of just the stat advantage. Still, it's very worth the effort, even though it does still take a little while. At least you only have to do 3 instead of 5 now. Alright, with that, I have a lot of stuff to grab. So yeah, I did all of them, so I got a bunch of level ups. I'm going to be getting 2 EGOs. I don't think either of them are for characters we use, unfortunately. Alright.
순서에 따라 대상을 제거합니다.
Alright, Toy Marissault with Kung Fu Action Grip. 10th level. You want to get beat heartily? Alright. We're of course gonna grab this.
태우고 싶은 것을 태울 뿐이요.
Alright, 10th rank, 4th match flame for Yisang. Yeah, there's also one for Ryoshu. Unfortunately, hers is not till like 60, I think. It's like way later. Alright, grab these. Is that a 10 level? Yeah, it is. Okay. Okay, so that's going to give us quite a bit of shards to play around with, so let's take advantage of that by going to all the wrong menus. I'm going to hold on to the ones that I could specifically assign for later. In the meantime, I'll grab all these. Boop. There we go. Confirm. Thank you. Alright. So I believe you're good to go, right? You are. Also, since we're here, let's go ahead and do take a look at the EGOs in question. Alright. Targets, it's an AoE, does burn, so it's what you expect. And then... Oop, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Alright. Single target. Gain protection, and can inflict paralysis. Gain surgery. Alright, so if you make him go berserk, he becomes very hard to kill, that's for sure. But of course he probably goes and starts attacking everyone. Or does he? Whatever. It's not an EGO I'm going to be using, so it's all good. Alright, you're done. You're done. You have 2. You have 1. You have 1. And you have 2. Alright, let's go and max you out. It's either that or I devote this all towards an EGO. But I think I want to max out the identities first, and then I will start putting threads towards EGOs. This will at least maximize my options as far as like what sort of identity to bring. So let's uptie this.
보여드리죠. 더욱 깔끔하고 확실하게.
There we go. She section 5. I had to say something. The child mumbled to herself, biting her lip. Frustration had taken hold of her heart for a long while. The director she worked under was pushing unrealistic goals, and to top things off, her co-worker had a temper that couldn't be any less suited for her association's line of work. Ugh. In the middle of dressing an open wound, the child groaned. There might just be more to her so than the pain. There's sure to be a good chunk of people in the city who would sympathize with her woes. All those experiences she had during her time of flitting around the city. Even after acquiring her fixer license, she took on chores and odd jobs of the lowest positions, all of which must have seemed inefficient and unreasonable for her. Those lowly duties weren't easy by any means either. It's right in the job description that fixers get their hands dirty, sure, but even they have things that you'd rather avoid. This bandage-swathed child undertook such undesirable tasks. Perhaps that's why she was able to join the She Association. When she had woken up in the hospital after narrowly avoiding death on a perilous mission, she found a letter of recruitment from the association at her bedside. Didn't expect to meet the director like that, though. Just as she was grumbling, she heard a loud voice from the room next to her. I said! It was full of genuine rage, something that the child had never heard out of her director before. I am rightly baffled by the ridiculous orders you issued whilst my juniors are in enough agony. The child quietly placed her ear to the door, the voice becoming much clearer as she did so. 'Tis against my will to reprimand my good men. Do you have any idea how it rendeth my guts to goad them with empty words? The irritation in the child's mind made way for emerging thoughts. At that, she took quiet steps away from the door and back to her quarters. I thought I'd become a rather experienced fixer by now, but I guess I haven't changed so much after all. Arriving to that conclusion, the child let out a deep sigh. So in that one, Don Quixote was her superior, I suppose.
어두운 것엔 익숙해요.
All right.
정전이 된 좁은 방에 홀로 59일을 있어본 적도 있어요.
Yep, C section 5. Well, you know what? Let's finish off that story then. Uptie.
나 더 힘내보겠어. 지켜봐 주시오, 관리자 나리.
There we go. The child had always expressed her joy with hearty laughs and enjoyed silly jests more than anyone, but not now. The child's true nature wasn't that bright exterior. Perhaps treating others with kind smiles and friendship was how she chose to ease her job of taking lives. The child's blade is swift. In the blink of an eye, before any can notice, her sword was already bisecting its victim. No expression colors the child's face in the midst of it all. No sorrow, no joy, no smiles, no tears. But when the child steps forward to meet her colleagues, her face will be painted. Cracking jokes and laughing like there's nary a woe. I doubt anyone knows what this child is like when she's taking on jobs alone. And there you go.
어두운 것엔 익숙해요. 정전이 된
Not sure if that's
좁은 방에
heterochromia.
홀로 59일을 있어본 적도 있어요.
In any case, so gain poise and haste. She does more. So something that's common with the siege sections, I think, is that if you're at less health, you can do more stuff. And then skill power +3 at 10 plus speed. How do you have 10 plus? Oh, by getting haste. That's still pretty hard to pull off. Alright, and then I didn't really look at the stats for this, and I keep holding down when I don't need to. Alright. Flying Sword does poise, and then at less health you do more poise. At less health you do extra attacks with Flashing Strike. Supposedly at low health with this you can kind of shred enemies, which is pretty cool. And then Catch Breath, which you can actually self-heal. That's actually pretty good, neat. And then she has access to counter. Alright. So that's all my threads for the time being. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 left, so that's another 160 thread. And I'll take care of all the female identities. And then I can start working on EGOs. Alright, so with all that said and done, let's go ahead and continue on with the story a bit longer. Oh, and level up wise, pretty much everyone except for Faust is level 30 now, so we should be okay for a while. Alright, I read this last time, so I'll just click on. Yep, all level 30 characters. Have fun. Shortly after the situation with Sinclair was dealt with.
그나저나 아까는 11구 뒷골목으로 간다는 걸 K사라고 잘못 말한 거지?
By the way, you meant the back streets of District 11 when you said K-Core's Nest, yeah?
딴지 걸기엔 다들 들떠 보이는 분위기라 타이밍을 놓쳤는데.
I missed pointing it out earlier since everyone got a bit excited there.
난 어지간해서는 잘못 말하는 법이 없다.
I rarely misspeak, if ever.
맞게 들었어, 그레고르. 우리는 K사 둥지로 간다.
I know what I said, Gregor. K-Core's Nest is where we're going.
아니 근데 둥지로 들어가려면
Huh, alright. But if we're entering a nest...
그래, 심사가 필요하지.
Indeed, there's the immigration process.
난 K사 비자 없는데. 나 빼고 다들 있는 거 아니지?
I don't have a K-Core visa. You ain't about to tell everyone else that got one, right?
뭐냐? 왜 날 보냐?
What? Why are you looking at me?
방법은 간단하다. 닭, 돌.
The solution is simple. C, I. Cut in?
그리고 뚫릴 때까지 죽사를 반복하면 돼.
Keep on DER till we've breached the defense. DER. Deal, everyone, rabies.
즉, 닭, 돌, 죽, 살.
In short, CIDER. Whatever that eccentric abbreviation means for Yoshu, the sinners have learned to stop questioning it.
림버스 컴퍼니 정도의 회사라면 그냥 통과될지도 모를 텐데요.
Company as big as ours might get a free pass.
그리고 류슈 씨가 말한 방식으로는 엄청난 시간이 소모될 거예요. 날개가 관리하는 둥지를 대체 뭐라고 생각하는 거예요?
Not to mention breaking through using the method Ryoshu suggested will take ages. How badly must you underestimate a nest actively governed by a wing to say that? Oh, I see. No one's going to take into account how much I'll suffer for that cider, huh? Sadly, none of our senators bothered to respond to me in any capacity.
이스마엘이 말한 대로 우리는 비자를 면제받아 통과한다.
As Ishmael said, we'll pass the immigration without needing a visa.
림버스 컴퍼니의 뒤엔 꽤 다양한 분야의 주주들이 계시거든.
Limbus company has backing from the shareholders of a wide array of fields.
아, 혹시 H사의 주주님도 아시나요?
Oh, do you happen to know the shareholder of H-Core then?
제 동생이 어렸을 때 붉은색 여권이 아니면 안 된다고 고집을 부려서 직접 저희 집에 방문해 주신 적이 있으시거든요.
They once personally visited our home because my younger sibling insisted upon having a red passport as a kid.
글쎄, 나 같은 일기 길잡이는 그런 것까지 아는 위치가 아니라서.
Couldn't say. I'm merely a humble guide who wouldn't be in the position to know such a thing.
그렇게 대답할 가치가 있어 보이는 질문도 아니고.
Otherwise, the question doesn't seem like one that's really worth answering.
너무하네요.
How harsh.
그보다 중요한 건 검문소까지 가는 길목이다.
That leaves the route to the checkpoint as our concern.
검문소의 심사가 까다롭다는 건 통행권을 노리는 자들이 지천으로 널려 있다는 뜻이기도 하지.
Thorough inspection means there are plenty of people looking for an easy way in, including those who take the pass by force.
버스 근처에 불청객의 소리가 많다.
I hear several interlopers surrounding the bus. Well, have bus, will battle. Alright, just a bunch of thugs. Should be okay. Yep, looks like we'll be fine.
물러서지 않겠습니다.
Of course, I've learned very quickly that dominating doesn't mean dominating sometimes. I think the issue is it doesn't take any of the stat adjustments in some cases. At least that's what it feels like. Or it could be a situation like in Library of Runa, where if you lose a clash, you get buffed for the following ones. For certain skills. Anyway, this should wipe them out pretty easy. I mean, this is what, level 16 or something like that, or 18, and we're level 30 now, so definitely don't mind it. Speed dice are gonna be annoying. Oh, you have charge. I'm not used to you having charge.
배는 맛은 있는 편이 좋은데.
지금이 기회인 거. 다음은 어디요?
역시 모르네.
Nothing's worse than winning a clash and then failing the coin flip for the damage, because you do so much less.
기분 좋은 카롯, 기분 좋게 도착.
Cock-a-hoop. Karen's cock-a-hoop parking.
자, 내리지. 심사받을 시간이다.
Alright, off the bus. Time to get inspected.
아, 혹시나 해서 말하는 건데 너희가 평소에 하던 대로.
Ah, and let me add this just in case you're feeling inclined to your usual antics.
그러니까 볼성사납게 사고를 치고 다녀도 일이 수습될 거라는 기대는.
Don't go around making a scene expecting things to go your way.
이곳 검문소에서는 버리는 게 좋을 거다.
Because that will not be how it works in this particular place. I thought his words were pretty intimidating, but despite the worries,
K사로 방문하신 모든 분께 환영의 인사를 드립니다.
we welcome all visitors to K-Core's Nest open-heartedly.
한 줄로 순서에 맞게 입장하신 다음 안내문에 따라 적합한 위치에 서주십시오.
Please form an orderly line as you enter and stand where the instructions indicate. Wow, this checkpoint actually looks really nice. Not used to seeing like bright color or white walls and ceilings and stuff like that. The menacing and interrogative atmosphere could subdue the temper of any first-time visitors, and the sinners were no exception. I could occasionally hear Sinclair sniffling, followed by Rhodia and Gregor calming him. Any of my questions why were met with heads shaken sideways.
그래, 평소에도 이렇게나 질서를 지키면 얼마나 좋아. 소풍 나온 병아리 같이.
Look here. How nice it is to see you all stay in line and behave like a brood of chicks on an outing.
당신이 왜...
Wait, why are you out here? What made you follow us outside the bus this time? Noticing my flustered reaction at the unexpected company, Virgilius opened his mouth.
이곳이 둥지이기 때문입니다, 단테.
Because this is a nest, Dante.
혹여나 이곳에서 예상 못한 사고라도 치는 순간,
If one of you were to get into unexpected trouble here,
단테, 당신이 전부 책임지기는 어려워질 테니까.
well, Dante, the responsibility will be a bit too heavy for you to bear alone. When Virgilius put it like that, it sounded as if he were saying you're not reliable enough to be sent without supervision. And it's true. But I knew it would be wise to keep this to myself. Because it's true.
전류가 너무 강하게
Alright.
방출되었어요.
Also, something I've noticed is stages have been giving XP tickets now as a reward, which is kind of nice. And hopefully I have enough to do... Oh, this is a story one. Okay, good. We wait our turn to undergo the checkpoint's official interview. With Virgilius and Ishmael instructing us on the process, here's hoping we'll pass. Code purple. Oh yeah, these... Uh-oh.
금방금방
I was gonna
빠지네요. 10분 정도만 기다리면 저희 차례가 오겠어요.
Alright, that's kind of weird. My mouse froze on me, so that's why I stopped talking all of a sudden and then tried to start again. And then Ishmael started speaking. Anyway, those guards that were in the loading screen, those guys are jerks. They're the worst. They have really high... They tank hits really well, they self-heal, and they're just overall very annoying to kill. I believe many people have complained about them, because they're apparently in Chapter 3. But I've encountered them in mirror dungeons, and like I said, they're not fun to fight. The line's moving quickly. It'll be our turn in about 10 minutes at most.
통과 질문은 저희 13명이 다 해야 하나요? 단테 씨는 말을 못 알아들을 텐데 어떻게 해야 하죠?
Will all 13 of us need to answer immigration questions? They won't be able to understand Manager Dante. So what should we do? Ishmael seemed to have a habit of speaking quickly and being more inquisitive when she's got anxious.
안 그래도 그 이야기를 하려던 참이었지.
I was just about to get to that.
잘 들어. K사 직원은 이쪽 줄에 서 있는 사람들에게는 매우 간단한 질문만 할 거다.
Listen up. The K-Corps official will only ask very simple questions of the passengers in this line.
그리고 너희들 또한 매우 간단한 대답만 하면 되는 거야.
And your answers will be similarly concise.
신문소 직원이 어떤 목적으로 왔냐고 물어보면
When the border official asks about the nature of your visit,
림버스 컴퍼니 업무상으로 왔습니다. 업무 비자를 확인해 주세요.
say, I'm here for business on the behalf of Limbus Company. Please refer to my work visa.
라고 대답을 하면 된다. 토시 하나 빼먹지 말고 그대로 외워.
Oh, his eyes are going red. Remember this exact phrase so that you can recite it word for word.
그 밖에는 내가 알아서 할 테니 그저 문제를 일으키지 않을 사람이라는 것만 증명하면 돼.
I'll take care of the rest, so you just have to prove that you aren't here to cause trouble.
혹시나 저 말을 외우지 못하겠다면 차라리 입을 다물고 있으세요.
If even memorizing that is too much of a burden for you, I suggest that you keep your mouth shut.
그저 갖고 계시는 사원증을 내밀기만 해도 되니까요.
You can present your employee card instead. Keep quiet and don't cause trouble. Easiest task in the world. I sneakily mumble a sarcastic remark. I was worried that Faust might rat me out, but thankfully... Virgilius was idly staring off into space, sparing me from his scathing commentary.
자, 그럼
Now, next up.
질문이 있는 사람은 내가 정말 가치 있는 질문을 생각했는가에 대한 고민을 해본 후에
If you have a question, make sure to first ask yourself if it's actually meaningful.
조용히 손을 들도록.
Then quietly raise your hand. Several hands were lifted, including mine.
로지온,
Rodion.
업무 목적이니까 무기는 들고 들어가도 되지?
Since this trip is for business, we can carry our weapons, yeah?
그렇다. 다음,
Correct. Next.
그럼 그렉의 기기괴기한 팔이나 단테의 근사한 시계머리도 상관없겠네?
Then Greg's creepy crawly arm and Dante's cheeky clocker head will get a pass too.
맞아요. 참고로 관리자님의 머리는 무기가 아니라 의체로 분류되기 때문에 관광 비자여도 허용은 돼요. 비록 불사의 능력을 지니고 있더라도요.
That should be the case. For your reference, our manager's head counts as a prosthetic rather than a weapon, which means it'd be approved even if what we had were a tourist visa, powers to revive notwithstanding. Ishmael took the role of the model student and answered in Virgilius' stead. It feels like something changed about Ishmael's attitude since the casino job. She seems to have decided to take matters into her own hands after I betrayed her expectations of my capabilities as a leader. For good reason.
정확해.
Precisely. Gregor and I put our hands down at the same time.
그리고 리오슈, 담배는 끄고 얘기하도록.
And Ryoshu, put out your cigarette before you speak.
난 손 안 들었다만.
I didn't raise my hand. Virgilius was doing his best to ignore Don Quixote's arms stretched skyward. But he finally caved and gave the woman with an adamantly raised hand the chance to speak.
그래, 돈키호테. 뭐지?
Fine, Don Quixote. What is it?
저 유리벽은 어떤 용도로 있는 것이오?
For what purpose doth that barrier of glass serve? Following Don Quixote's finger, our attention was drawn to the glass wall stood in the middle of the building. On the other side of that clear dividing wall were countless people waiting in line.
저쪽은 기다린다기보다는 아예 사람들이 바닥에 앉아 있군.
That line's slow to a crawl. People are sat on the floor waiting for it to move.
줄을 선지 꽤 시간이 지난 모양이야.
Looks like they've been there for quite some time.
무장 경호원도 많군. 이곳 인원의 3배.
There are many armed guards as well. 3 times as many compared to this side.
대부분 건물에 세워져 있는 유리벽은 안전을 위한 용도일 가능성이 크다.
Most of the glass walls you find inside buildings are there for safety reasons.
뭐 쉽게 말하자면 뒷골목 사람들 전용 구역이지. 둥지마다 방식은 다르지만 어쨌든 제대로 된 비자가 없이 다른 둥지로 가는 건 진짜 까다롭거든.
Well, simply put, that line's for backstreets folks. Each nest handles immigration differently, but whatever it may be, it's super duper hard to get into another nest without a proper visa.
왜 검문소 근처에서 목숨까지 걸고 우리를 습격하려고 했겠어? 비자를 강제로 빼앗아서라도 둥지에 가려고 했던 거지.
Why'd you think those bullies jumped us on the way to the checkpoint? They wanted our visa so they can enter the nest.
그리고 우리가 해결해 줄 수 없는 문제이기도 하지.
A problem we are not in our power to resolve. However, that answer didn't satisfy Don Quixote. Whether it was the fault of the gloomy yet oppressive atmosphere of the area beyond the wall, or the disturbances happening in there, I couldn't say.
관리자님, 저희 차례입니다.
Manager, it's our turn now. Huh? Right. Our line moved at such a quick pace, we barely had time to chat before it was our turn to answer the officials' questions.
기억하세요. 그쪽에서 어떤 목적으로 왔냐고 하면
Remember, when you're asked about the purpose of your visit,
한 번만 더 말하면 심사관인지 뭔지 아는 놈이랑 만단지에 해주겠어.
red eyes for her too. Remind me one more time, and I'll show sangria to you and the officials or whatever. Despite Ishmael's worries, our inspection was smooth sailing.
소속 그룹 이유를 말씀해 주세요.
Please state your affiliation and purpose of visit.
업무차 림버스 컴퍼니에서 왔습니다. 사원증 확인 부탁드립니다.
I've come here from Limbus Company on business. Here's my employee card.
확인했습니다. 다음.
All checked out. Next.
림버스 컴퍼니에서 왔죠. 비즈니스 때문에. 사원증 보시면 된대요.
From Limbus Company. Business reasons. Take a look at my card and all that.
확인했습니다. 다음.
All checked out. Next. After our first center proved who we worked for, it was a breeze for the rest of us. The official asked the same question and in the same dry tone, took a cursory glance at our faces and employee cards, though based on their speed it seemed more like a customary gesture rather than actual look over, and then let each center pass.
저쪽에서 무슨 문제가 생겼나 봐요.
Something's amiss over there. The glass wall standing between us and them was thick enough to block out sound. It was hard for us to tell what was going on through the wall. However, I could see what was happening unambiguously. Someone with cuffed hands was being dragged away by security. And a small child was crying next to them, clearly scared and confused.
신경 쓰지 말죠. 잘은 모르지만 날개의 금기를 어긴 모양이에요.
We shouldn't bother. I don't know what happened, but I guess someone broke a taboo.
그래. 가난뱅이들이 어긴 금기를 받자 만족스러울 만큼 충분한 돈을 뒷구멍에 찔러주지 않았다는 거 웬 더 있겠어?
Yeah, sure. Those impoverished vandals in their audacity to break the taboo of not stuffing enough cash in the right people's pockets, am I right?
지금 저한테 이족되는 건가요?
Are you mocking me right now?
뭐야? 신경 쓸 일은 아니라며. 너무 신경 쓰는데?
Huh? What? I thought you didn't care. Guess someone's knickers are in a twist. While I was distracted by Heathcliff loudly celebrating his first successful tease on Ishmael, our usual suspect sprang forth at her least expected moment yet again.
소속 그룹 이유를 말씀해 주세요.
Please state your affiliation and purpose of visit. No. No, no, no.
약자에게 자유를 주기 위해 왔노라.
I come to liberate the weak and powerless. An emotion is expressed for the first time on the checkpoint official's face. Flabbergastation. They looked up at Don Quixote with a face screaming that it was flabbergasted.
저자들을 풀어주게. 고통스러워하고 있지 않은가?
Release them at once. Can you see that they are suffering?
소속 그룹 이유를 말씀해 주세요.
Please state your affiliation and purpose of visit. The official ignored her demand and parroted the same question. And all the while Don Quixote was getting more upset by the minute. And looking through the transparent wall again, I saw the desperate child mouth a scream at the man dragged away in handcuffs. Daddy! Oh noes. Maybe that's someone else's slant. It can't be Don Quixote's.
그대가 나설 마음이 없다면 내가 직접 해결하겠네.
If you're unwilling to take action, then I shall myself. Huh.
코드 퍼플. 금기 K185 위반 발생.
Code purple. Violation of taboo K185 on site.
트롬보사이트 지원 요망. 재전파. 트롬보사이트.
Requesting thrombocyte units. Repeat, requesting thrombocyte units. Don Quixote has our own warning color. Veering away from inquiry like a broken record, the official spoke an intimidating immune response to the radio.
안내합니다. 코드 퍼플. 순환 이동 검문소 14번. 트롬보사이트. 루코사이트.
Attention all personnel, code purple, circulation hall 2, inspection booth 14. Thrombocyte, leukocyte. Blaring sirens accompany the perplexing announcement, all the while thick metal gates shut around us.
그냥 대갈통을 부수고 시체 자루에 넣어서 지나갈 걸 그랬어.
Should have smashed her skull in and carried her in a body sack.
그런다고 아주 달라질 건 없었을 것 같지만요.
I doubt that would have made much of a difference.
트롬보 루코 각각 혈소판, 백혈구를 의미하는 것 같소만.
Thrombo, leuco. I believe they refer to platelets and white blood cells, respectively.
저들을 의미하나 보군요. K사와 어울리네요.
It must be them. Heading for K-Core, I say. Looking in the direction Faust indicated, we all saw what she meant. Security forces wearing menacing uniforms were staring at us. Alright, taboo. Our dear Don Quixote's intolerance for injustice rears its troublesome head again. Armed staff from K-Corps surround us on all sides. All the while, Virgilius watches with his arms crossed, upset at our repeated failures to behave. I know.
단테, 이번에는 누굴 베어버리면 되는 거야?
I've gotten used to this sort of situation, but it looks pretty serious.
네, 날개의 금기를 어겼으니까요.
Indeed, we violated a taboo of the wing after all. It's not like anyone was hurt, can't we just talk this through? Faust looked straight into my face. For Faust to face someone directly when she usually stares into empty space as she speaks can only indicate one thing. I must have said something incredibly frustrating.
어떤 날개든 금기를 어겼다는 건.
No matter the wing, infringement of a taboo means... A loud explosion left Don Quixote dismembered where she stood.
별도의 발포 경고 없이 금기제를 처단할 수 있다는 뜻이에요.
That lethal measures can be taken against the violator without warning. It looks like Border Control isn't willing to forgive us until they dismember the rest of the centers. Armed security staff was surrounding us on all sides.
날이 갈수록 놀라워.
You never cease to surprise me.
바닥 밑에 고여있던 조그만 기대감마저 증발시켜버리니 말이야.
You managed to wring out the last drop of expectation I had left for you.
난 빠지지. 저 녀석의 단독 범행이라고 하든 다 같이 해결하든 알아서 해.
I'm keeping out. Pin the whole thing on her, or take responsibility, or whatever.
아까는 관리자님만으로는 부족하니까 동행한 거라면서요.
I thought you accompanied us to handle situations that our manager can't alone.
어쩔 수 없는 것에 책임을 져준다고 했지. 이따위 헛짓거리에 동참해준다는 뜻은 아니었다.
I came with you to take care of inevitable problems, not have a pissing session in the wind. Virgilius casually pushed his way through the line of armed guards and leaned against a wall. He then crossed his arms as if to further drive home that he'll remain a spectator. Well, so much for getting back to Virgilius' good graces. So yeah, you just saw they healed for 15. So yeah, these guys at the start of the round heal 15, at less than 50 HP heal additional 15. So if you're not doing 15 damage, you're losing ground. And after you get them down to half, you have to be doing 30 damage. Or the worst case scenario is you take them down to half, just barely below half, and then they heal for 30. So yeah, and then they have a bunch of tremor stuff. When attacked by skills that burst tremor. I need to figure out how to burst tremor. Whatever. For right now, luckily even now we have poor clash. We only have favorite clashes against these guys. It's really annoying.
전투에 임하겠습니다.
Yep, sure enough. I lost a few there. And unfortunately, despite the changes they made to combat, defensive skills don't really help too much. Because it just cycles the problem to the next character.
물러서지 않겠습니다.
Oh, and then they can guard. And guard gives you temporary HP in this game. So you literally just make no ground. Because at that point they're getting, what, 20 extra HP, and then you have to do another 15 on top of that. But we did kill one of them, so we're slowly making ground here. I'm gonna save my EGS for the next round. Also, going slow is okay. It's just so we can build up more speed dice, since they like to throw max speed at us afterwards. I suck at coin flips. And this is just gonna get more and more frustrating. Yeah, this is why I don't mind having the extra levels, because we're gonna need it. We're already having trouble winning the clashes, and if you don't win clashes, you're not doing damage. Alright. Oh my gosh, strugglings. Let's see. That's better. It's not great, but it's better.
내 앞을 막을 자는 없어.
Nice evade. That actually helped. Okay, they're both staggered, which is good. But since I can't dictate which target goes after what, that guy just healed for 30 because he was alive. Alright, so we should have plenty of. That was just wave 1, wasn't it? Yep, that was just wave 1. I have, what, 2 turns left to clear everything? Alright, good news is... Let's see, what's this looking like? Neutral. Alright, we're gonna do this. Dominating.
거치적거리지만 마.
이것도 받아보시게나.
They're vulnerable to blunt, which is good. There you go. 1 down. That actually worked out really well. Except for the weird lag I'm suffering.
모든 업은 다시 돌아와. 네 머리 위에 내려질 것이다.
Poke. Oh my god, 3 health left. Okay, I still had attack left. Good. Alright, staggered. Okay. All of that.
거치적거리지만 마.
Perfect. We're not even killing them, they're just running off. Okay. Did it within 7 turns. Really just gonna watch from there.
그렇게 쳐다봐도 소용없습니다, 관리자님.
You won't sway me with that luck, manager.
아무도 귀담아 듣지 않는 길잡이 주제에 칼까지 빼드는 건 주제넘은 짓이 아니겠습니까?
I'm nothing more than a guy that none pay heed to. It would be impertinent of me to brandish my weapon.
아, 마지막으로 오지랖을 부려보자면 K사의 특이점은 HP 탄으로 웬만한 상처쯤은 순식간에 회복이 됩니다.
Well, to meddle one final time, K-Core's singularity takes the form of healing bullets that restore most wounds in the blink of an eye.
어쩌면 관리자님의 그 능력과도 유사하겠군요.
I suppose it could be compared to that ability of yours. Hey, wait. Completely ignoring my feeble plea, not that they could hear it, K-Core's security guards closed in on us.
이 정도면 피는 만족할 만큼 본 것 같군.
Alright. Confrontation with K-Core's guards continues. They seem to hardly take a scratch, adding to our fatigue. Yep. Well, for right now, I think we're good to go. Alright. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I'm the Rescuer. This was Limbus Company. I'll see you guys later.